Hey everyone, my name is Mukesh Otwani and welcome to learn-automation.com. So today we will talk about data types in Python. The moment you start working with any programming language, you should know which kind of data type they have, because every time you need to store the data, you should know what data types they have. So in simple words, what exactly is data type? It will represent that what kind of data you are using. Okay, so let's quickly start the different data types we have in Python. So these are the data type which exist in Python, and so we'll talk about integer, floating point, complex numbers, boolean, string, list, dictionary, tuples, and set. So the last five which you can see, string, list, dictionary, tuples, and set, I will be recording dedicated video for each data type because they are very interesting and they are very important. So first four also is very important, but yeah, they are very easy. We don't have much to cover, but the last five requires a dedicated video. So don't worry, we will talk about last five in details in each and every video. We will discuss about the different methods they have, what kind of operations that we can do. Yeah, so I will be giving you overview about each data type now, but today we'll focus on the first four. So we have integers in Python, which will represent by int. We have floating point numbers, which is represented by float. We have complex numbers, which is represented by complex, and boolean will represent by bool, string by str, list by list, dictionary by dict, tuples by tup, and sets with set. So these are actually the classes. Okay, so once I will move ahead, I will show you these classes. Each and every data type in Python is a class. So let me show you how exactly they are and what kind of values they can store. So integers are just a whole number. So the moment you say whole number, it means normal numbers 3, 1, 2, 5, 19 or any number. So these numbers will come under integer category. This can hold the positive values and negative values as well, and integer will be represented by int. So don't worry, I will show you the practical example for each and every data type. So let's quickly go through the slides that I have prepared. It will give you an overall idea how to use these data types. The next data type is float. Okay, so it's a real number. Whenever you have floating point, that will be represented by float. So whenever you have any floating value like 3.14, 7.9, 1.8, anything, it will be a float. So generally float is represented by float in Python. Now this is complex number. So whenever you have any complex number, it will be represented by complex. And you can see one example is 1 plus 3i. You can have n number of examples here. So whenever you have any complex number, it will be represented by complex. Now Boolean has actually only two values which you can provide. So in Python we have two built-in values, one is true and one is false, and it is represented by bool. Again, just a small disclaimer, this true false, the first character is capital. Okay, so whether it's true, so it will be capital true and capital false, only the first letter, not the complete sentence. The next data type is string. So string is nothing but a collection of characters. Okay, so we don't have separate character data type in Python. So what we have is a string. Okay, so we can represent the string in Python either with a single quotes or double quotes, both are acceptable. Okay, so any example you can take, whether it's say Python, Mukesh, Otwani, Selenium, anything in double quotes or single quotes, it will be considered as a string, and it is represented by str. Next is list. As the name says, list, right? So it's a collection of objects or collection of values that we're going to have. So when I say I have a list of friends, I have a list of tools, I have a list of gadgets. So anything which is a collection, we will call as a list. So in Python, we represent list with a bracket. Okay, so you can have any number of values within the list and we can play with the list. So once you move ahead, we will talk about how to work with the list in detail. But for the time being, this is what the list is. It's a ordered collection and it can have the duplicate values as well. The next is set. It is also a collection of object, but one thing which we need to notice here, it is unordered. Okay, and the main important difference is it does not support duplicate elements. Yeah, so whatever values you will be having, it will be all unique in set. It is represented in curly brackets and you can have a number of values here. Again, there's no type restrictions when it comes to list, set, dictionary or tuple. You can have a number of data without any type restriction, and it is represented by set. Okay, so second lot, it is also a collection, but now it's a key value pair. Okay, so whenever you have some data and you want to assign certain key, you have to use dictionary. So if you remember what is dictionary generally in our old times, right? We had a phone dictionary. So whenever you have to contact me, you will find my name or my address, then you will get my address or the number, right? So you have a key and then you have values. Same thing goes with dictionary here in Python. You have a key and value pair. So whenever you have to get some values, you will be giving a key and you will get the values. Again, very interesting concept. We'll see in detail. For the timing, it is represented by DICT, or you can call it dict. It's up to you. And now we have tuple. Okay, tuple or tuples, it's up to you. So it's a collection of objects again, but here main thing is it's immutable. So what is immutable here? It means once the value is assigned, you cannot modify. Okay, so let's say we have a tuple called Mukesh and you want to replace with some other words called Otwani or Selenium, you cannot do that. Okay, and it is represented by tuple. Okay, so let me start with integer, float, complex and bool. So I will go back to Python idle. Okay, so in the last lecture we discussed how to install Python, right? So now you can start writing directly the code in PyCharm, which we already have. In case if you don't want to start, you can, for the simplest program, you can go with the Python shell, or we will call this idle, which is IDLE. So in case if you don't have this open, let me show you how you can start. Just go here, search with IDLE. Okay, you can see this is Python idle. Just open it. Or in case you want to directly start from CMD, just type Python and you will get this Python exe, right? So you can directly start writing code here as well. Third option, you can directly start with a PyCharm as well. So I'm going to use this idle, which is IDLE, which is Python shell in short. And just for, since I'm making tutorials video, I will increase the font size so that I can show you better. But in case if you don't want to increase the font size, you are good with the default fonts, please stick to default 10. I will go with 20. Okay, 20 will be a little higher. Let me make it 16. Yeah, click on apply and OK, and now we have bigger font size. So let me show you these data types one by one, and I will also show you the parallelly the operators that we can perform. Okay, the operations with the help of operators. So let's say I want to run 2 plus 3, the result is 5. Okay, now if I say any subtraction operation, you can see now we have the value is 5. 90 minus 9, we have the 81. So you can see these values are getting operated, or with the help of operation we are able to calculate, and it is giving the result. So plus addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, everything you can do here. So let me quickly cover all the operators. So if I want to say 10 into 3, I will say 10 star 3 and I will get the result. If I say 10 by 3, okay, which is divide by 3, I will get the value. Okay, so you can see now this is actually your integer values, which I'm able to show you, right? But this is actually a float value. So whenever you do any division operation, you will be getting a float value. Okay, so let's say if I say 10 divided by 2, I will get 5.0. So whenever you say division, you will always get the float values. Okay, so let's say I want to get the remainder. So now we are going to use another operator called mod operator. Okay, so let's say if I say 3 divided by 2, I'm getting 1.5. Okay, so now if I say I want to use the mod, okay, which is mod operator, so I will say 3 and I will be using now percentage sign and I will say number, so it will give me the remainder. Okay, so there's some indentation issue, so we'll talk about the indentation now. Okay, so the moment you say 3 module or mod 2, it will give you the remainder. Okay, so the moment is a 10 by 3, so 10 by 3, when I say, sorry, it's a mod operator, 10 mod 3, you will get the remainder again, which is 1. So maybe once you start giving, basic interview questions, they will ask you whether number is even or not. So you can use this mod operator, it will always give you remainder. So if remainder is above 0, it means it's a odd number, right? So if I say 13 divided by 2, sorry, mod by 2, you will get 1. Like this, you can do many operations. So these are just a basic operators that we are using from our childhood, right? Division, subtraction, multiplication, and mod operator. Now let me also show you the power of. Let's say I want to say 2 into 2 into 2. you will get the 8, right? Now what if I want 2 to the power 8, 2 to the power 10? So I cannot just write in this manner. In that case, I will say 2 star star, let's say 8. Okay, just a syntax issue. Just again say 2, and again we don't have to give any space. Okay, the moment you say, you get 2 to the power 8. So when you say any power, you just use 2 star operators and you will get the power of that number. Okay, so again if I say 3 to the power 9, okay, I will get the value. So this is 2 star you can use when you have to take the power of. Yeah, now again we don't have any option here to clear this idle. So what I will do, I will close this and I will start the fresh one. Now let's say I have one equation, let's say 2 plus 10 plus 5 into 9. Okay, we got the value. So how it is working? Okay, so first it is saying, if you just go in a left to right order, ideally it should have given 10 plus 2 12 plus 5 17, then 17 to 9. But right now what it is doing, first of all, it is actually doing this operator, right? 9. So actually it is following the baud mass. So again if I write 2 plus 9, okay, plus let's say 3, and again into 5. Now I want that this condition has to be evaluated first, then it has to multiply by 5. So again brackets have the highest order. So when I say in this way, first this expression will be evaluated, which is 9 plus 3 12 and 14, then into 5. So we'll get the final result. So whenever you have multiple operators, okay, then you can use brackets, which will looks, I will say, the standard one, right? Otherwise you can go in this manner, but in this case what it will do, it will follow the baud mass, and first it will do 3 into 5 15, then it will continue with this. So if I show you once again, 2 plus 9 plus 3 and into 5, okay, and you will see the different output. Yeah, so brackets actually will have the highest priority. So whenever you have such equation, use the brackets accordingly and you will get the desired result. Okay, so this is how we are dealing with the operators. But what about now the data types which I'm talking about? So now you can use a function called type. Okay, so the moment I say 1, you can see it will return me an int, that it's an integer number, and int is actually class which I already discussed. Now the moment I say type 1.5, okay, and it says it's a float. So you can see, right, by default when I'm using some inbuilt functions, it is highlighting in a different color, right? The moment I say type, you can see it's completely black because it's not a predefined method, it's just a simple string that I've created. But the moment I say type, you can see it's highlighting, it means it's a predefined function. I hope int and float is clear to you. So we don't use complex much, so we will be talking about complex data type in detail once we move ahead. As of now, let's talk about the Boolean that we are going to use almost every single day. Okay, so the moment I said type, okay, as I said, we need to use true. Yeah, the moment you say true and hit enter, you can say it's a bool class. And in the same way, if I type for false, and I will be getting a bool class again. But again, as I said, T and F is capital. The moment you say type, okay, and if I say small t and true, you can see the moment I hit enter, it says name true is not defined because there's nothing called true. Okay, true and false with capital T and capital F, these are built-in types. Okay, now if you understood about the data types, now let me talk about how we can use in the variables, because we cannot go without using the variables. So let's talk about variables. So let's say if I'm using one variable called name, and if I'm using something called, let's say 12, and if I simply say my name again, it will give me the value, right, which is 12. Now we need variables so that we can reuse them or we can reference them for some other equation or for some other statement. So this is one variable called name. Now if I try to say 12.0, will it work? Because name is already assigned with 12, but what if I say 12.0? Let's see if I try to print it again. So now you can see it's working, right? How it is working? Because Python supports dynamic typing. In other programming language, it will give you error. It will give you the error because you cannot assign, but here it doesn't throw any error because of the dynamic typing. I hope it is clear now. So let's use some other variables. I will say this is my variable 1 equal to, let's say, 90. Then I have variable 2, which is again, let's say 19.5. So if I have to use these two variables, now let's say finally if I say result, I can do var 1 plus var 2. And now if I simply just print the result, we should get the result. Yeah, which is 109.5. Since now var 2 is a floating, var 1 is integers, the moment we get the result will be always float values. Yeah. So this is how you can store the value using equal to operator, which is, now let's talk about now bool. So if I say status equal to true, yeah, you can see it's again highlighted in different color because it's an inbuilt type. The moment I say print again status, I will get the value. Okay, some spelling mistake, just give me a second. Print, and I will say status. Yeah, we got the true. But what if I say status equal to true? Again, the moment I hit enter, it says true is not defined because we haven't defined true and we are trying to assign into a variable status, so it will say true is not defined. Okay, so make sure when you assign Boolean, it should have the proper value. Now, very interesting fact again, what if I say status equal to none? Yeah, it is acceptable. Now the moment I say print status again, we have inbuilt type called none. So we have true, we have false, we also have a none. But again, you cannot say none in this way. Okay, if you do it, it will throw you the name error again. Yeah, I hope it is clear. So before we end this video, I just want to highlight a couple of points. First thing, always try to have variables, local variables for the timing with lower letters. Okay, again, there's no issue, but always try to use lowercase letters when you are going with local variables. Second thing, variable should not start with the number. So I cannot say 1 Mukesh equal to 10. Again, it's invalid syntax. You cannot start variable with numbers. Okay, and try to avoid inbuilt keywords. So just now I have shown you, right? List, dictionary, tuples, set, string, int. So try to avoid that. The moment I say int equal to 90, so you can see it's again a predefined keyword. The moment I say this, again it will show me invalid syntax. So try to avoid. Anyways, you will get the syntax issue, but you cannot use the inbuilt keyword that we have. Third, very important point, once again, try to avoid the characters, special characters, like which we are doing for addition, subtraction, right? So if I cannot say equal to or let's say this hyphen equal to 90, because hyphen is again a predefined operator. You can use underscore, that is fine. I can say underscore name equal to, let's say, Mukesh, that is acceptable. So if I try to print this name, underscore name, yeah, it is working, but I cannot go with plus, minus, modular, hyphen, and all the special characters. Yeah, so this is how the variable works. So just a quick summary, you can reassign the variable because of dynamic typing. In other programming language, we have static typing. The moment you start assigning the values, different type of values, again it will throw error, but in Python it will not. Definitely we also have pro and cons for this. So the moment you say pro, it's very easy, you don't need to worry about the data type, you can continue, so development will be faster. But when it comes to debugging, that is actually an issue, right? Because since we don't have any type restriction now, we can reassign, so you might get some unexpected output. So debugging will be a little bit tricky sometimes. Yeah, but yeah, depends on the usage. So we also have pro and cons for whether we go with static typing or dynamic typing. It totally depends how do you handle this. So in case if you're not comfortable with IDLE, which is coming by default from Python, you can continue with PyCharm. Okay, this is just to show you how we can execute. Yeah, the reason why I was showing, because it was highlighting, right? This highlighting will make our task easy. So if you want to do the same thing from PyCharm, what you can do, you can create a new file. Okay, so let me show you. Let's create a new Python file, and I will say it's a demo1. The moment you get your file ready, you can use all this stuff that we discussed now. So for example, I want to give name equal to Mukesh. So we haven't discussed about string in detail, but whatever you give in double quotes will be considered as a string. Yeah, now if I just use the print, and you can see here in PyCharm we're getting auto suggestions. In case if you're not getting, just type P and control space, you will get this auto suggestions. So I will be using this name. Just right click, run demo1, and you can see we got the output. So let's say again, you say this time again I will try dynamic typing. This time I will say Otwani, and if I say print again, and this time if I say name, and if I just run this program once again, you will get the Otwani. So this is the first, this is the second output. Yeah, so continue with this. PyCharm's perfectly fine. Whatever I showed you so that I can directly hit enter. I can show you the result. Yeah, so last thing which I want to show you, let's say you want the type, right? So I will say type of which I will say I want type of name variable that we're using. So I will just say run demo1, and you can see it's a string class which is represented by str. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you are new to this channel, then please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and in case if you have any question or query, let me know in the comment section, and you can drop me an email as well to my email, which is mukeshotwani@learn-automation.com, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.